Welcome to diplomacyindia.com. I am BN Jha and you are watching our special show, The India Connect. Today we are with us the Prime Minister of Republic of Guyana, Honorable Moses Veerasammy Nagamootoo. Before I could speak to the Honorable Prime Minister, we could mention that 2016 is the year of 50 years, the completion of 50 years of diplomatic relations between India and Republic of Guyana. It also happens to be the year of 50, of the year, Golden Jubilee year of the independence of Guyana. So welcome Mr. Prime Minister. The first thing our viewers would like to know from you is that being the Golden Jubilee year and completed the 50 years of diplomatic relations, what brings you here to India on what specific note, any specific visit? How have you come to address the issues, bilateral issues, or are you on a private visit because you happen to be also Prime Minister, Mr. Prime Minister of Indian origin, that is the Tamil origin, Indian descent?
I came here on an invitation from the Madras Development Society, and it was to attend the Tamils Economic Summit in Chennai, Tamil Nadu. And there was scheduled to be a Sustainable Development Summit at the same time in Delhi. So we were coordinating with the High Commission of India in Guyana about attending both of the events, so that in a sense it's a semi-official. In Tamil Nadu, I was given tremendously warm welcome from the state, and almost like if it were a state visit. It was an amazing welcome from the people of Tamil Nadu, because they saw me, although I am by nationality a Guyanese. My ancestors left what was the port of Madras in the Madras Presidency in 1847. I was born 100 years after, 1947, in what was then British Guyana, a country on the mainland of South America. We are the only English-speaking country there, so we are also part of the Caribbean community. So we are both a South American country as well as a Caribbean country. So I was amazed when I went to Tamil Nadu as a Caribbean West Indian person and a South American person, that I was hailed as a Tamilian because of the historical roots. As I said, that the trees of my ancestry were uprooted there by the British promise of gold in the streets of British Guyana, and so they all went after the gold. So from that meeting, I came to Delhi, and I was able to meet the Minister of State for Foreign Affairs, and yesterday we had a discussion on a wide range of issues dealing with our bilateral relations.
So, Mr. Prime Minister, India, the fact is that India recognized Guyana before its independence, even before its independence, in 1965 only. Now, today, how do you describe the economic, trade and commercial relations between India and Republic of Guyana?
The relationship has grown over the years, and we have very strong, cordial, friendly relationship. At the level of the technical cooperation, we have had a joint commission that had been functioning. It had not met for some years, and I hope we can do so, reactivate it very soon. But we have, under the ITEC program with India, a great line of technical support in many areas of rice, sugar, areas of ITEC, the areas of
maize and agriculture.
Yes, health.
Health also,
education, whatever field. And right now, the ICT program has now come on board with India building a Center of Excellence.
Has it been established now?
It has not been fully established, but it is it's a grant. It's not a loan to us. So I believe that India is helping us to come to the level of its own national priority, which is education. And we have under the iTech program, we have an exchange of technicians for students who come here and they study in Indian universities and centers of learning. So I believe that our relationship have been very rounded and multidimensional, and also it is a platform for the strengthening of these relationships, because almost 1/2 of the population in Guyana are people of Indian descent, and therefore culturally it is easier to develop trade and commercial links with a society that already would want Indian cuisines, Indian spices, Indian clothes, Indian music, Indian art, and other aspects.
So many cultural similarities.
Yes.
So how do you enjoy your cultural similarity with Tamil Nadu? I mean, the hundreds of years back. How do you practice it? Even today, I mean, your community, Tamil, they practice some cultural mores, some social customs, some festivals of those times from Tamil Nadu?
I believe that the Tamil population, or what we call Madrasi, because I wrote a book, Andrew's Cure, in which I dealt with the early life of the Madrasi, because they came from the port of Madras. They are not called Tamils, they're called Madrasi, because at the same time, we don't know if they came from Kerala, or they came from Andhra Pradesh or Karnataka. We don't know all of that. I'm now trying to do the epilogue of that book, and my visit to Tamil Nadu certainly gave me additional insight as to the society. I was looking in particular to see people wearing what we call Madras Rumal. The women would wear a particular headwear in Guyana that is red and yellow, and with what does it look like, a peacock or something on the front of the rumal. I haven't seen a single rumal in the street of Chennai, which makes me wonder, did these people come from here? And the other aspect of it, I have toured some of the temples. I've been to the Shiva temple, I've been to many other Ganesh temple, but I'm looking to see Mother Kali or Mother Durga in some of the temples, and I didn't see that as a feature of the Tamil Nadu cultural life. Maybe it exists in another name, and I was looking to see if I'll get someone to beat a drum that's called a tapu, which the Madrasis took as part of the culture in Guyana. I didn't see that. Maybe it does exist. I went to the wrong place. But the point is that in Guyana, people did retain aspects of their culture. And it's the culture that was limited to the practice of worship in the Kali Mai church. The worship of Mother Durga. There are some deities associated.
Kali Mai church.
Kali Mai. So they would sing. I go sometime. My father was a devotee of the temple, and he would do puja in appreciation of the work of Madurai Viren. Some people say Madra Viren. And he named his son after Viren. And his daughter was named after Mother Kali. And so in the family, you find the same traits of people trying to recreate and reproduce their ancestry in a kind of a mythology after deities. So you have in the same compound, they will worship Ganesh. They call Mahabir Baba. That's what I think my father would say. So yes, there has been attempts in these little enclave of the Madrasi community to preserve their culture.
What about dosa or idli, sambar bara and all these things?
Well, in terms of food, there's a similarity of food with southern India. We, for example, in Guyana, in my home, I'm accustomed to eating very spicy food with hot pepper. In fact, I came across a chili and I bit it, and I was thought that it would have been more hot than Guyana, but it tasted in a similar way. I've seen what they call, you say, pani, water, tani. I grew up seeing my parents making and going to the temple. They make bulgatani. So I know that there is something that is comparable to what exists right now in southern India. And the food is almost the same, the curry, particularly fish. And the use of coconut milk, coconut chutney, and achar, and the use of karaila and baigan.
Imli.
So, yeah, the food is same, pumpkin and all of that. You may call it different names, but when I'm eating their dal, in Guyana we don't have the matar dal, we have just the plain split peas, the yellow dal. So the food had been kept intact, and the culture, except that nobody spoke Tamil. Sometimes you hear people attempt to speak it. It could be Telugu, it could be a Creole version of Tamil. But if you go to the church and you mix with some of the elders that I have done while I was doing research for my book, they sang beautiful Tamil songs. I love listening to Tamil songs. And they kept their culture as an oral tradition, in singing songs, but only when they were by themselves. No one taught the Tamil language. When I was going now to Tamil Nadu, I tried to learn a few words. I think only 2 words I learned by the time I got there. You know, I could say Vanakam, and Nandri. You know, it's like saying hello and goodbye. But I decide when I go back I shall try.
So, Mr. Prime Minister, having such a perfect setting for gastro-diplomacy, I mean, what you have been describing, and the historical connect, the cultural similarities between the two countries, between India and Republic of Guyana, how the two countries have cooperated in the international forums and on the issues of, say, India's entry to the United Nations Security Council or the permanent seat on that, so many issues, how the two countries have cooperated.
Well, India and Guyana have cooperated bilaterally, but more so in a multilateral way. We are members of the Commonwealth of Nations, and it is there that we are able to take common positions, and the ideals of India are shared by Guyana as well as by the entire Commonwealth, that you need a world of peace, you need a world that is cooperating for certain specific goals of, as you have here, sustainable development, knowledge-driven society, trying to alleviate poverty and hunger and want among the people. And so those are now universal aspirations. India has grown from what people generally had seen as in that controversial book by V.S. Naipaul, An Area of Darkness.
Darkness, yes.
It has now...
There are 1 million mutinies now in the past.
Exactly. Then you have, India has grown into a shining example of where a poor country could go if you have good leadership and if you have vision. And you had some leaders here who had great vision, scientists and everybody else that were uncharacteristic in politics, had provided leadership for India and had shown a different way that you could move forward. And so India has now entered as one of the 5 new emerging superpowers of the world in the BRICS coalition. And there are many who have expected that one day, being a country with nuclear capability, India has not allowed itself to be cowered by other developed countries. That India had gone to the outer space, landed a person on the moon, and just as the Russian had done before, just as the American had done before. So India is saying that where you lead, I will follow, but not necessarily as a follower, but I could also, in my own way, set some examples of how to do things differently. And so there is an expectation that one day that the Security Council will be reformed, and that you don't have just the Club of Five or the Gang of Five, however you would like to look at it, that you could be able to have a more democratized Security Council, and that India could be one of those new countries that could be brought into the Security Council.
Mr. Prime Minister, as far as trade and commerce is concerned, the figure of $31 billion, I think that is the trade figure. So that trade figure is not very, very attractive between India and Republic of Guyana. So how do you propose to increase this volume? And at the same time, I would like to know that are Indian companies right now working in Guyana in agriculture, in health, or in other fields?
Well, let me deal with the first part of the question. Here is it that you have an uncharacteristic situation, that there is no direct flight between India and Guyana. To get here is a hassle. So it must say something. You don't have any direct shipping lane from Guyana or shipping line to India. So it says something with regards to the cost of trade. That if you have to look in a competitive world, how much it costs for India to trade with Guyana as against trading with another country that is close by, or Fiji, somewhere in the Pacific, or somewhere they may choose to go, because keel is cheaper than wheel. If you could travel with boat, you could trade with Australia and find it cheaper to do so than to do with Guyana. So that Guyana had become in a sense, a cultural affinity had attracted Guyana to India. Because I was born in 1947, in a sense I was an Indian independence boy, Indian independence baby, an earlier period. When the Constitution of Guyana was suspended in 1953, it's something as sweet as sugar could have been so bitter, because so many lives were wrecked and destroyed in the ship industry. And so we found this situation where we are looking for assistance all over the world to help us to modernize our sugar industry. Because if you close sugar, thousands of Indian, mainly in descendants of Indians, will be out of jobs. So here again, in a paternalistic or a maternalistic way, India reached out and said, we will help you to modernize your shipping industry. And I just came from a discussion with one of the groups who said they can help Guyana to modernize factory operation and bring greater efficiency and cost reduction. India also is helping us in the rice sector. As you know, we are big in rice and we eat a lot of rice, but for us, growing up under the imperial cultural ethos, we felt eating rice was bad for our health. So I went to Tamil Nadu and I was eating rice every morning for breakfast. And it was absolutely delicious because the way the rice was prepared. And when I went to a factory to visit, I was given a bowl of soup. And as I was drinking the soup, I was watching my wife and smiling and saying, you know what it is? This is what we call rice maar. It was the water from the boiled rice with some onions and...
Quite nutritious also.
Well, you say it is nutritious. We used to say it is nutritious until we begin to see the bad literature that tells us it will give you bloated belly, it will give you white mouth, and things like that. And I enjoyed, because as a little boy, I remember tasting this with the tamarind and the sour and the shallot inside. It was an absolute delight for me to be tasting this soup once again after so many years. So now you need people to come to Guyana to tell us how to be able to prepare our rice. Strange enough that in the period of decolonization, both culturally and politically, the High Commissioner's father-in-law, I don't know if you know, he's the son-in-law of the former president and late former Prime Minister and President of Guyana, Lyndon Forbes Vernon. And he introduced into Guyana wheaten flour, rice flour, and all the cereals from rice. And it was strange that for all the years of our cultural conditioning, that the Indo-Guyanese population rejected it and said they don't want to use that. They want wheaten flour, not rice flour. I think Frantz Fanon had described that as the kind of a mental destruction caused by colonialism, that we can't even now be independent mentally to think about things that are useful for us as a nation, based on self-sufficiency, based on eating what you produce locally. And people saw that, the wisdom of that, much later. When they go to the United States, or they go there and they see in the shop people are selling rice flour. And the rice flour make a better dosa, I'm told. And people have to now adjust, because markets for rice are dwindling, and therefore you have to be able now to feed your own population with what you produce. So India is helping us in a strategic way in the area of food security. And as I said, here again, trade does not explain everything. Sometimes aid explains more than trade, and India certainly has been a great helper.
Through line of credit, through
and
grants also.
Outright grants.
Yeah, outright grants also.
Yes. Look,
through technical expertise and the pitching of the experts and specialists in different fields in Guyana. So yes, true. So thank you very much, Mr. Prime Minister. Thank you for being with DiplomacyIndia.com. Yes. This is V. Jha with Amay Sathe for DiplomacyIndia.com.